This round of balance updates sets the initial stage for the 2023 tournament season. Every weapon has received various adjustments based on your feedback and tournament results. A variety of signatures have also received quality of life improvements, as well as reining in some signatures that were too strong or carried too little risk for their overall utility. This patch also contains the first round of balance updates for the newest legend and weapon, Tezca and the Battle Boots, who are now legal for use in official Brawlhalla tournaments. The Axe Neutral Air now has slightly greater stun to allow for more reliable follow-up attacks from this low-force aerial. The Axe Side Air has slightly less recover time on miss as its risk was proving to be too great. The Battle Boots Neutral Light now has slightly greater time to hit. The Down Light now has greater risk with an increased recover time on miss that is similar to most other combo starter attacks. The Side Light's maximum DI angle has been greatly increased to prevent repetitive team combos. The active input version of the Side Air has been greatly retuned, with a much shorter hit window for greatly decreased travel and carry distance, a decrease in force that takes significantly longer to scale to knockout range and prevents the stun time from scaling at specific early health ranges. We have also decreased the force of the normal Side Air and the recovery attack for less power from its combo enders and main knockout threats. The Ground Pound now has less threat coverage to allow for more reliable escapes when maneuvering behind this attack. The Blaster's Downlight now has less threat coverage as it could previously hit too far behind and below the user when used as a gravity cancel. The Bow Sidelight now does less damage given its range and versatility as a string starter. The Bow Neutral Air now has less threat coverage and less acceleration on miss for more reliable spacing and punishes against this attack at mid to close range. The Bow Recovery has received a decrease in threat coverage and force to better match its overall utility and use as a combo ender. The Cannon Neutral Light and Side Light now have slightly less recover time on miss, enabling this weapon's grounded tools to better respond to the pace of other weapons. The Gauntlet's Neutral Light now does less damage to better match its fast time to hit, use as a team combo starter, and combo ender. The Side Light now has greater recover time on miss for more reliable punishes on this highly mobile attack. The Gauntlet's Side Air now has a shorter hit window, providing less threat coverage and movement on the initial lunge. The Greatsword Neutral Light finishers now all have much more vertical knockback. This increases the knockout potential for these attacks in most situations. The Neutral Light finishers performed at the end of a full chain have also received an increase in force for even greater vertical knockout potential. The Hammer Side Light now has slightly greater stun for more reliable follow-up attacks. The Hammer Neutral Air now has greater allowed acceleration and maximum speed equivalent to its previous values. The Hammer Side Air now has greater stun, force, threat coverage near the user, and a lower angle of knockback that returns this attack to its state from the start of 2022 season. The Katar's Neutral Light and Neutral Air now have slightly greater recover time on miss. This power has been shifted into the Side Light as less recover time on miss for its grounded approach tool. We've increased the Rocket Lance Side Air's recover time on miss and decreased the allowed acceleration during that recover time. The Down Air has also received an increase to its recover time on miss. The Orb Neutral Air now has greater risk with more recover time on miss, but also with increased stun for more reliable follow-up attacks. The Orb Side Air now has slightly greater recover time on miss to better match its knockout potential and use as a combo ender. The Scythe Neutral Air now has greater recover time on miss. The Side Air now does less damage to decrease the Scythe's reward on hit at early health ranges. We've decreased the damage of the Spear Downlight to decrease its overall rate of damage. The Neutral Air now has a smaller radius of threat coverage. The Spear Side Air has also received a decrease in damage to bring this weapon closer in line with other weapons. The Sword Side Light now does less damage to better match its overall threat coverage, and also has less vertical threat coverage to allow more reliable counterplay. Some of this power has been shifted into greater stun on the Down Air for more reliable follow-up attacks. The force of Azoth's Side Bow now begins to decrease after the plumes have completely formed to better match this large signature's lengthy hit window, especially when a dodging player gets struck by the tail end of the attack. We've reduced the force of Cross Neutral Gauntlets to bring its knockout potential closer in line with other similar attacks. Dusk's Neutral Spear was previously too narrow to be used as a reliable anti-air in most cases, so it now has a larger flame with wider threat coverage. Ember's Neutral Bow now has a shorter hit window, slightly less grounded threat coverage at the front, less threat coverage at the rear, and decreased force. This notably decreases its knockout potential given its diagonal knockback angle, and slightly decreases its utility and dodge coverage. This power has been shifted into Embra's neutral Katars for less recover time and greater force on this lesser used anti-air attack. Fate's down scythe telegraphs its movement a great deal, so we've decreased its minimum charge time for greater surprise and utility. Kaya's neutral spear has less force to better match its utility and dodge coverage after certain attacks such as a downlight. Kaya's down spear and neutral bow now both have greater minimum charge time and respective time to hit and time before movement adjustments to slow down the initial threat of these high utility signatures and widen dodge windows when these attacks are used for most strings. The total duration of Lin Fei's neutral cannon is one of the fastest in the game, so we've increased the recover time for more reliable punish attempts. Magyar's side hammer had significantly less total threat coverage than other similar attacks, so we've increased the size of the ground strike for much greater threat coverage near the user. Magyar's down hammer now has a quicker response with less minimum charge time and earlier movement for more reliable use. We've greatly increased the force of Magyar's neutral greatsword to better match its total duration and relatively narrow threat coverage. Mordek's side scythe now decreases in force after the icicles have completely formed to better match this attack's lengthy hit window, especially when a dodging player is struck by the tail end of the attack. Orion's down spear has the potential to do more damage if the opponent is caught in the center. This maximum damage has been decreased. We've also reduced the force of this signature for slightly later knockouts that better match its threat coverage and overall utility. Tezuka's neutral gauntlets and down boots have both received decreases in the force of their aerial spikes, making a clearer difference to favor the grounded versions for high force knockouts. The aerial version of Tezuka's neutral gauntlets has also received a significant decrease in stun for greater escape windows after being thrown. The secondary ground explosions have all been significantly decreased. These secondary hits will still scatter other players that are too close, but will not score any knockouts at most ranges. The neutral gauntlets also has greater recover time on miss for more reliable punish attempts. Similarly, we've increased the recover time of Tezuka's side boots to allow for a wider punish window after the bright hit window has ended. Thatch's neutral blasters has a shorter charge time for a quicker response on this attack's first shot. The movement of Vector's side bow has been adjusted to decrease the gap between its starting location and first hitbox. Wushang's side spear now has greatly decreased force to better match this signature's priority and overall speed.
Thanks everyone for watching, and enjoy the adventure in Battle Pass Season 7 ValhallaQuest. To see the complete patch notes, visit us at Brawlhalla.com.